Welcome back to your next listen. Today we're talking about lo-fi. Again, it's the week. We're gonna be I can't speak today. Today we're talking about low fidelity. What does that mean? Well, you're hearing it right now. That rain in the background, that is low fidelity. Yesterday, I talked about how they would take instruments and pass it through a low fidelity filter, which is true. That is what they do. But it also has a second meaning. No, I should probably explain the first meaning. The first meaning is just a low pass filter. Filtering out some of the high sounds and bringing out the low sound a little bit more. But more importantly is the lo-fi stands for low fidelity in its own separate definition, which means that the music is actually low quality, which means specifically they have missing notes. They are there's background noise attached to it. In fact, if I was to turn on my fan over there and have it playing, this production would be low fidelity. Now, I'm not going to do that because I don't need the fan, but you're hearing the effect of it now. It really breaks up the monotony that is lo-fi music. Lo-fi music is often very boring, so having that low fidelity idea implanted within it, where it has these pops and these weird sounds that you don't expect, they tickle your brain. Not everyone likes this though. Obviously, it is by definition low quality music. It has mistakes in it. That is by design. This obviously doesn't. Not everyone likes this. In fact, I know a really good artist who just doesn't like lo-fi music. In fact, I believe the statistic is somewhere around 88% of people only find benefit in lo-fi, which is it's a lot, but it's not. There's definitely that 12%. So about 1 every 10 people just they don't like lo-fi, which is fine. They don't find any benefit from it. Lo-fi can help you focus really well, but it can definitely not be very good. Personally, I find a lot of lo-fi music is really the same, and while I do like lo-fi as a genre, I find it really difficult to pick out specific songs that I enjoy. It's hard. But I have found a few, and I want to share them with you guys this week. So, I want to go a little bit more into this definition of low fidelity, specifically in the context of lo-fi, which is where it came from. We've talked about how it's the rain in the background, and it's off-played notes, it's off-key, not part of the scale. We've talked about that. But it can be really just anything, any background noise. In fact, I've heard lo-fi that has people talking in the background through muffled walls. I've heard the entire song just being played muffled. It was a very interesting song. I actually have that one saved. I'll play. I think I'm playing it right now. I am. That's wonderful. All right. So as you can tell, it sounds like it's coming from a gramophone, which is intentional by design. Even though it could be a perfectly interesting song, a perfectly normal song and it would do just fine. It's more interesting because it has this off-putting feel to it, I'm gonna say. It doesn't sit quite right, and that is definitely a major key of how lo-fi works. How it tickles your brain, but is generally more boring as an idea. This is how most lo-fi songs function. They have a very simple song, which we've talked about yesterday, and we'll be going into more detail tomorrow. But they have a very simple song, and just they've altered it a little bit, they've twisted it a little bit, they've messed up some notes, they've added effects over it, to make it more interesting to our minds, to help us focus, which is ultimately the purpose of a lo-fi song. So, yeah, to recap, low fidelity means low production, but not really in the sense of lo-fi. In the sense of lo-fi, it means low production with wrong notes that I purposely messed up, background noise that has seeped in, such as rain, radio noise, radio static, or even muffled sounds. And finally, it is just so ever tweaked, usually, to help bring it more to the front part of the brain, but since it doesn't do it consistently, it keeps that same barrier where it's uninteresting, but sometimes interesting and then uninteresting again, leading to this weird experience where you don't necessarily focus completely on the song, and it helps you focus because it's clearing up your subconscious thoughts and it tries to help. So, lo-fi, that's what low fidelity is. Any questions? Leave them in the comments. Other than that, have a wonderful day. Bye, I guess.